Blackstone limits withdrawals at $125 billion property fund as investors rush to the exit. Who could have seen these coming? I mean, the crypto space is getting hammered, which rightfully so they should, because crypto is garbage. And yes, I am freezing cold. That is why I look like this today. However, that is not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about who owns your assets, which I did a video, which I'm going to show you here in a second. This was, a month or two, a couple months ago, about counterparty risk. And people in the developing world and the emerging world and the developed world are going to get very, very comfortable, very intimate with the word counterparty risk. Because we're going to see in the coming years who really owns your assets, as the Canadian truckers have already proved, the Dutch farmers. And this is going to go on and on and on as people get taken, ripped from the system. And I have friends, I've got a lot of people, life insurance, financial advisors, all kinds of people from all different spaces, a lot of real estate people. And well, Brandon, real estate or life insurance, this and that. And that's great. It's great when times are great, when it's 1994 or whatever, 2004, 2005, when things are like great. There's no real upheaval in a developed world like America. And that's great when times are great. We're not in those times, and we're not going into those times. We're going into the fourth turning. We're going to winter. So what happens? Lots of upheaval. It matters who you can trust. Mainly yourself, right? You want things that don't have counterparty risk. And of course, it is not financial advice. You want a diversified portfolio. You want things that maybe have counterparty risk. They're providing income, things like that. So you're going to have those things. However, this is the problem. Vast majority of people only have their assets in one asset class, paper, generally a lot of times, 401ks, pensions, things like that. It's just in stocks and bonds, just in paper, which you don't own the stock of the company, right? You can't put your hand on it. They used to send you a piece of paper. You don't even get that anymore. You just have a digital screen and a computer. And if that gets locked out, as we saw, like, again, the Canadian trucker protests, which that was next door, guys. That's your neighbor literally getting that done to them. And if you don't believe what the government wants you to believe, central bank digital currencies coming, stuff like that, boom, you're out of the system. Fidelity, the government makes one call to Fidelity, the government makes one call to Coinbase, whatever it is, the government makes one call. Could be a life insurance company says, no, freeze that. They don't deserve that. They don't own that. And if you don't believe me, just look what happened in the last 2 years when people didn't get something experimental put into their body, whether you agree with it or not. And then they were denied care in some, not every circumstance, but they were denied in many cases, not just one or two, but in very a plethora, many cases. We can go find, and again, that's not what this is about. But all you got to do is go search, and people that were denied care, literally denied care, because they didn't have something foreign, experimental injected into their body. Think about that. So you're going to tell me that's life and death, and you're telling me that, they couldn't do that. Well, the government couldn't make one call and shut down my life insurance account or shut down my Fidelity account, my stock, my brokerage account, my pension. Couldn't shut down, they're going to come take eminent domain, take my properties, things like that. That's the thinking. That is the thinking. We think in such a little box, especially here in developed countries in America. We think in this little box, like, nothing could happen to me. Things were great here. It's America. It's 2022. Like, how could this happen? Like, come on, we're a civilized world. And we're seeing it all around us. Yet, for some reason, the frog in the boiling pot never picks his head up over the edge of the pot and says, I'm in a pot boiling. It's starting to get warm and toasty in here. That is the difference. The beauty of this, though, is that more people that are awake, not woke, awake, the better off we all are, and the less this happens, and the less chance of this happening. So the less people in that system, the less people have assets just in one asset class, just in one particular aspect of the system. That means we're decentralized. That means we're resilient, we're independent, and there's very little chance that that one thing can take down ourselves, or take down our family, or take down our dynasty, or take down our empire, or take down the state, or take down the country, whatever it might be, right? From bottom up. That's the difference. This is what's going on. Again, I just made this video. Like I said, it's right here. I just made this video on counterparty risk and bearer assets. And we've got people in here saying, hey, I think this is the most spot-on video in the current macro right now. And he says, things that I don't think are true. Better than George Gammon. I don't know about that. That guy's a boss. That guy knows a lot of stuff, right? But what that says to me is, again, it strikes a chord to somebody. There's a lot of people feeling this stuff and what's going on and seeing it in your subconscious. You feel it, right? It's our intuition, as Bob Proctor says. It's our higher faculties: perception, will, reason, imagination, memory. Those are things that we have that animals don't have, and we need to use those things. Just going along to get along, and just because someone else is doing it, or just because it looks like things are okay over there, that doesn't cut it. That doesn't fly. But the moral of the story, though, is to get prepared, to be decentralized, to mitigate risk. I think one of the biggest things that I've seen in studying this and being in business for the last 10 and 12 years is in talking to so many smart people and reading books and whatever it is, all my experience is that the best wealth managers and the people that really have the most wealth, monetarily speaking, are great risk managers. They're just really good risk managers, a lot of them. That's the difference, and then you get some of these guys, the Buffetts or the Bezoses and the Musks and like that. These are just geniuses, and they're just great at creating, and they almost don't even need to diversify, but they do because they have many companies. So even though they might not be like a risk manager per se, and I think they are, I bet they would argue and say, oh, I do manage risk in all these different ways. However, the big thing with all that is that, wow, I don't have my microphone up here, so hopefully you can hear me. But the big thing with all that is that they're able to create tons of value, and they are so skilled at what they do that they can create value no matter what, right? So risk mitigation isn't as important maybe for their own wealth, but their companies it is, right? They're always mitigating risk for their own companies. So anyway, the moral of the story is the more we can wake up and open our mind to other possibilities and not just this narrow thinking, this echo chamber we've been told our entire life, just a diversified portfolio of mutual funds, stocks, bonds, pensions, 401ks. That's a recipe for disaster. And paper, like I said, even life insurance, that's just paper. It's just a piece of paper. It's a promise. Someone said, I promise I'll give this to you. Well, how do you know? You have no idea if someone will pay that out. Zero. You can't, there's nothing you can say or do. If someone just says, I'm not doing that, it doesn't matter how many times they promised you. Just like people here, I know many stories of people not getting paid any of their retirement here in the big three in Metro Detroit where I'm at. Many people are involved in the big three, got totally wiped out in the great financial crisis 12 years ago. They just came in, wiped them all out, said, oh yeah, sorry, we promised you that, but you have counterparty risk. We're your counterparty, and we say, we're not giving it to you. Too late, too bad, sorry. That's real. I mean, we can't ignore that. And that's going to get crazier and crazier and more as things get crazier, as time gets crazier, as they need to bail themselves out more, as government's going to financial repression even more, which is the playbook. Again, we've done other videos. You can check those out on the IMS playbook, financial repression. And again, we know they don't want deflation either. Ben Bernanke's book paper from 2002, why deflation cannot happen here. So they're going to inflate their way out. They're going to repress everything, financial repression. They're going to debase the currency, higher inflation, and that's how they're going to bail themselves out over the next 10 years. So be prepared, be diversified, having other things as well, energy, security, barterability, as Lynette Zhang says, be outside the system, be diversified, truly diversified, different asset classes, different security measures, food, water, energy, and having that ability, no matter where you are, no matter if you're in a city or out in a rural area, doesn't matter. Get prepared. You can all be prepared. And the more we're all prepared, the less this is going to affect all of us. That's the beauty of this. The more we are plugged in and clued in, the less any of this is going to affect us. That's my point in saying this. And again, people keep saying, oh, it can't happen here. Or why do I need a finite money that can't be digital money that can't be changed, it's immutable, it can't be screwed with, it can't be inflated away, finite supply. Well, this is why. Because they're going to keep doing this stuff to you. And again, I don't pay for Financial Times, not going to pay for this garbage. So you're just going to get the headline here. But I think we understand what's going on here, right? This is, stock portfolios. Like I said, anything paper with the flick of a switch and digitally can just be shut off. Even your property, again, eminent domain. I believe in Netherlands right now. We'll have to do an article on that too and do a video on that. And they're just going to seize basically eminent domain. They're just going to come, oh, you know what? You won't give us the 3,000 farms that we're asking you to do for global health emergencies or global, climate emergencies or whatever they're calling it. We'll just take them from you. Don't worry. Well, how's that going to go? Right? That's what we're trying to defend against. Crazy, out of control people, which, at the end of the day, we vote these people in. We can do this. And a lot of people, this is the scariest part. A lot of people think they are doing good and their intentions are right. They full-heartedly believe. Again, I know a guy in the 30s in Germany thought the same exact thing. He believed to his core that he was doing the right thing. He was convinced, and no one could convince him otherwise. Again, we've seen these stories play out, guys. The person, the people, us, we are the answer. Bottom up. Your locale, your PTA, your local PTA, getting involved in your local municipalities. That's how, you just think of if 1, 5, 10% of people in each community got involved and just went to a couple meetings a year. That's it. Just think of how little amount of people have to do it, and how few times you really have to go. But just think if everyone did that once or twice a year, got involved in their PTA or their local school board, their local municipality and city council, just think how different everything would be. You would, boom, within months, the whole country would change. America would change, regions would change, continents would change if people everywhere did that. And advocate. If you're in a place that doesn't have those things, then advocate for it. Go do it. It's incredible times. Incredible times. So like I said, go check this out. And Blackstone, again, here they are, 13th biggest asset manager in the world. Dang near just under $1 trillion asset manager. They're doing it. I mean, they're just, rug pulling people. Well, sorry, you can't get out. They're doing this everywhere. Crypto, again, we always say Bitcoin is not crypto. Crypto is not Bitcoin. Crypto is a garbage scam. It's this legacy system where you can get rug pulled. Like Blackstone is rug pulling people. The big three companies were rug pulling people 12 to 14 years ago, not giving them their pensions. They're getting bailed out. They're too big to fail. They're getting bailed out, but yet they're not giving anything to the white collar guys. Sorry, too bad. And fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You can't get fooled again. Name that song. So check this video out. Like I said, it's one of the most important videos I think I've done, because it's about busting old paradigms and what we've been told forever, and checking our narrative and our echo chambers and what's truly happening, and being decentralized, being independent, being resilient. So please go check this out. Like I said, I'll try to link it in here, or at least at the end of the video, I'll have a card here and link it in here, so that way you can go check this out. This really is. It's going to happen more and more. Just like a slight little, just a little thing here. An investor, why are they rushing to an exit? Why? We just got to answer these questions. Why is that? Anyway, appreciate you guys. Appreciate your time, your energy. Check your financial privilege. That's it. Developing world gets it. The developed world, if we're not careful, we're going to screw ourselves over, because we think we are invincible. That is not the case. We're all human. We're all in human systems. This is not how it works. So let's check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Appreciate you, as my aunt would say, and appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important asset we have, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. And go check this video out. Like I said, I'll link it in here, so you can go check out going through the entire process of looking for who my counterparty is, and do I really own what I own. We'll see you guys in the next one.